The silver Imperial vessel slipped into Earth orbit with practiced precision. Aboard the bridge, Commander Dai watched the blue planet rotate lazily below. His mission was simple: deliver terms of integration to this backwater world, another routine addition to the Galactic Empire's ever-expanding borders. Primitive technology signatures confirmed, reported Officer Kang, her eyes flicking across holographic displays. Their space capabilities appear limited to their immediate solar system. Rudimentary orbital platforms, minimal weapon systems. Day nodded with satisfaction. Send the greeting protocol. Let's get this over with. Earth's United Government representatives met the Imperial delegation with diplomatic courtesy. The global coalition, formed after decades of international cooperation in space, listened politely to the Empire's generous offer of protection. "We appreciate your proposal," said President Lee, her expression carefully neutral, "but Earth prefers to maintain its independence." Commander Dai's laughter echoed through the chamber. "You misunderstand. This isn't a negotiation. The Imperial fleet is already on its way. You have 2 weeks to prepare your world for integration." After the Imperials departed, President Lee contacted the hidden military command beneath the Pacific Ocean. "They took the bait," she said. "Activate the defense grid. Launch the fleet." The underground command center burst into activity. General Sun rose from his chair, his weathered face breaking into a rare smile. "Finally," he said, "after all these years of waiting." Technicians rushed to their stations. On massive screens, green lights began to appear as hidden bases across Earth, and throughout the solar system acknowledged the command. "Signal sent to lunar bases 1 through 7, reported Major Kim. "Asteroid belt shipyards coming online. Mars defense platforms activating." Deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, enormous doors slid open. Water rushed to fill the space as Earth's first destroyer, the ONS Defiant, prepared to launch. Captain Moon stood on the bridge, watching as his crew worked with practiced efficiency. "All systems nominal," his first officer, Commander Yoon, reported. "Ready to surface on your command." "Take us up," Moon ordered. "Slowly. Let's not give away all our secrets yet." The Defiant rose through the waters, its advanced hull shedding the ocean like it was nothing more than morning dew. To any Imperial scanners, it would look like just another naval vessel. They wouldn't detect the pulse cannons or the gravitic engines hidden beneath its innocent exterior. In orbit, Commander Dai prepared to leave Earth behind. Another world soon to be under Imperial control. Another commendation for his record. "Sir," Officer Kang called, her voice tense. "I'm detecting unusual power readings from the planet's surface." Dai frowned. "What kind of readings?" "Unknown, sir. They're unlike anything in our database." "Send the data back to Imperial Command. It's their problem now." As the Imperial ship pulled away, President Lee stood in her office, looking out over the city. For decades, humanity had hidden its true technological capabilities. After the first alien signals were detected a century ago, Earth's nations had made an unprecedented decision: present a unified front to any potential threat from space. The underground factories, the hidden training facilities, the secret space program, all developed while maintaining the illusion of a planet just beginning to reach for the stars. In a secret facility beneath the Himalayas, Admiral Park reviewed the final preparations. The fleet was almost ready. Ships that had never seen sunlight were powering up. Crews trained in simulators for years were finally taking their positions on real bridges. "Status report," he commanded. "Lunar bases report all ships at ready status," replied his aide. "The Mars defense grid is online. Asteroid belt forces are moving into position." Park nodded. "And the Thunderstrike." "Captain Sue reports all systems green. Earth's most powerful warship is ready to lead the fleet. In high orbit around Jupiter, invisible to Imperial scanners, the Thunderstrike waited, nearly 2 kilometers long. Its black hull absorbed light and scans alike. Captain Sue walked the bridge, inspecting each station personally. Weapons. "All weapon systems charged and ready," replied Lieutenant Du. "Shields triple layered and at full capacity," said Ensign G. "Engines antimatter drives primed. We can reach Earth in 4 hours." Sue nodded, satisfied. The Thunderstrike represented humanity's ultimate achievement, a destroyer-class warship that combined Earth's most advanced technologies with reverse-engineered systems from crashed alien vessels. The Empire had no idea what was waiting for them. On their departing vessel, Commander Day sent his final report. "Planet Earth. Minimal resistance expected. Recommend standard integration protocol." Little did he know that beneath oceans, under mountains, and hidden in space, Earth's true power was awakening. Ships that had never flown in actual combat were preparing for their first taste of war. Weapons developed in secret were charging for their first real targets. As the Imperial ship jumped to faster-than-light travel, President Lee received confirmation that the fleet was ready. "The Empire thinks we're helpless," she told her advisors. "They're expecting a primitive world with outdated weapons. They'll arrive with minimal forces, expecting an easy victory. And instead," said her defense minister with a grim smile, "they'll face the full might of what humanity can do when united against a common enemy." President Lee nodded. "Let them come. Earth is ready." Deep within asteroid belt shipyards and underground lunar facilities, Earth's true military might began to stir. For centuries, humanity had presented a carefully crafted image to the stars, a species just beginning to reach beyond its cradle. In reality, Earth had been preparing for this inevitable day since the first alien signals were detected. The destroyer Stormbreaker represented the pinnacle of Earth's military technology. Nearly a kilometer long, its matte black hull absorbed both light and scanning beams. Captain June stood on the bridge, watching as her crew prepared for humanity's first interstellar conflict. "All systems operational," reported her tactical officer, Han. "Stealth systems engage. The Empire's scouts haven't detected us." "Good," Jun replied. "Let them come confident. Pride before the fall." Admiral Park's orders were clear: maintain the illusion of vulnerability. Let the Empire think they were attacking a defenseless world. The fleet would remain hidden until the perfect moment to strike. Captain June walked slowly around the command deck of the Stormbreaker. The ship hummed with power beneath her feet. After 15 years serving on simulators and test flights, it felt strange to be preparing for actual combat. The crew moved with purpose at their stations, their faces a mix of tension and excitement. "Status report," she called. Lieutenant Gill looked up from his console. "Engine room reports full power available. Weapon systems charged and ready. Shield generators at maximum capacity." June nodded. The Stormbreaker was the most powerful warship ever built by human hands. Its main cannon could punch through asteroid rock like paper. Its engines could push it to speeds that would make older vessels tear themselves apart. But it had never been tested in battle. "Show me the fleet," she ordered. The main screen lit up with a tactical display. Scattered throughout the solar system, hidden in places the Empire would never think to look, were the ships of Earth's secret navy, some concealed in deep ocean trenches, others hiding in the shadow of gas giants. A few were even disguised as common cargo vessels in Earth orbit, all of them waiting for the order to attack. In his command center on the far side of the moon, Admiral Park reviewed the final reports. The oldest of Earth's military leaders, he had spent his entire career preparing for this day. "The Imperial fleet will arrive in 48 hours, he told his staff. "We must maintain our deception until the last possible moment." On the surface, Earth continued its act. Governments issued panicked statements. Military forces moved in disorganized patterns. To any watching eyes, it would appear that humanity was just now realizing the threat it faced. Meanwhile, beneath that chaotic surface, the true response was coldly efficient. In a hidden base under the Atlantic Ocean, weapons specialists loaded the latest quantum torpedoes onto submarine carriers. In orbital shipyards disguised as space junk, technicians made final adjustments to fighter squadrons. On Mars, Buried defense platforms woke from standby mode. Captain June left the bridge to inspect her ship. The Stormbreaker's corridors were wide and bright, a contrast to its black exterior. Crew members saluted as she passed. Many were young, too young, perhaps, for what was coming, but all had been chosen for their skills and trained to perfection. She entered the engine room, where Chief Engineer Min was running diagnostics on the matter-antimatter core. "Will she hold together?" June asked. Min looked up, wiping grease from his hands. "The simulations say yes, but we've never pushed her to full combat power. We may have to. Then we'll find out what she's really made of," Min said with a tight smile. June continued her tour, stopping at the weapons bay. The Stormbreaker carried enough firepower to level cities. Technology that had been developed in secret, far from prying eyes. Officer Choi demonstrated the targeting systems. "We can hit a moving target from half a solar system away," he said proudly. "Let's hope it's enough," Jun replied. Back on the bridge, a message arrived from Admiral Park. The Imperial fleet had been detected entering the outer solar system. 12 warships, as expected. A small force, meant for an easy conquest. "They're underestimating us," Han said, studying the fleet data. "As we intended," Jun replied. "Their intelligence reports show a planet with minimal defenses. A simple target." She opened a channel to address her crew. Over 400 men and women, soon to be the first humans to engage in interstellar combat. "This is your captain speaking. The enemy approaches, believing they face a helpless world. They do not know what waits for them. They do not know that for generations we have prepared. They do not know the strength of Earth." Throughout the ship, crew members paused to listen. "Each of you was chosen for this moment. Each of you represents the best of humanity. Tomorrow, we will reveal ourselves. Tomorrow, we will show the Empire that Earth is not prey." On the main screen, the approaching Imperial ships looked powerful and dangerous, built by a civilization that had conquered hundreds of worlds. But they had never faced humanity before. Admiral Park sent the final order to all ships. "Maintain stealth until the Empire commits to attack. Let them believe their victory is assured, then strike with everything we have." As the Imperial fleet moved closer to Earth, Captain June ordered her crew to battle stations. The Stormbreaker's lights dimmed to combat levels. Weapons were armed. Shields powered up. "Now we wait," she told Han. "And then," June's eyes hardened, "and then we teach the Empire why it was a mistake to threaten our home." The Imperial battle group dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the solar system. 12 warships, led by the massive dreadnought Imperial Glory, began their approach to Earth. Commander Jin surveyed his tactical display with satisfaction. This would be an easy victory, another commendation for his already impressive record. "Begin standard intimidation protocol," Jin ordered. "Target their primitive defense satellites. Let them see what real power looks like." The Empire broadcast ultimatums across all frequencies. Their massive ships moved into Earth orbit, weapons systems powering up. Earth responded with seemingly panicked communications and launched what appeared to be outdated defensive measures. "They're deploying obsolete missile technology," reported Jin's second-in-command, laughing. "Shall we demonstrate our superiority?" Jin nodded, ordering the destruction of Earth's visible defenses. The Imperial ships fired, energy weapons flashing across space. Hidden in the shadow of the moon, Captain June received her orders. "Operation Thermopylae is a go." The 12 Imperial ships moved through the solar system like predators, confident and unhurried. Their hulls gleamed silver against the blackness of space, emblazoned with the spiral emblem of the Empire. Each vessel bristled with weapon ports and sensor arrays. They had conquered 100 worlds with this same fleet formation. Earth would be no different. On the bridge of the Imperial Glory, Commander Jin stood with his hands clasped behind his back. The main screen showed the blue planet growing larger as they approached. Such a prize, with its abundant water and resources. The mining operations alone would bring enormous wealth to the Empire. Sir, we're detecting their early warning systems activating, reported his sensor officer. Jin smiled. Good. I want them to see us coming. They appear to be mobilizing their orbital defenses, the officer continued. Primitive weapon satellites and what look like crude fighter craft. Jin's second-in-command, Major Tae, laughed softly. They still use chemical rockets. They'll barely reach us before we destroy them. Open a channel to all Earth frequencies, Jin ordered. Let us introduce ourselves properly. The communications officer nodded. Channel open. Sir. Jin cleared his throat and spoke with practiced authority. Attention, people of Earth. This is Commander Jin of the Imperial Glory, representing the Galactic Empire. Your planet has been selected for integration into our peaceful coalition of worlds. Your resources will serve the greater good of the Empire, and your people will enjoy the protection of our fleet. He paused for effect. Resistance is not advised. We have disabled more advanced worlds than yours with minimal effort. Submit now, and your major population centers will be spared unnecessary destruction. Earth's response came quickly, a jumble of confused transmissions from different governments and military commands. Some pleaded for peace. Others issued empty threats. None seemed coordinated. Jin smiled at Major Ta. As expected, they have no unified response. Earth's visible defenses began to move. Satellites adjusted their positions. A handful of what appeared to be military spacecraft left the planet's atmosphere, their engines burning hot as they climbed toward the Imperial fleet. Analysis of their defense capabilities. Jin asked. Minimal threat, sir, reported the tactical officer. Their satellites appear armed with primitive laser systems and kinetic weapons. Their spacecraft are short-range fighters with limited armament. Jin nodded. Begin the demonstration. Target their largest defense satellites first. Use minimal power. I want them to see how outmatched they are. The Imperial Glory's forward batteries powered up. Beams of energy lanced out, striking 3 of Earth's largest defense platforms. The satellites exploded into clouds of debris. More targets approaching, reported the tactical officer. Earth has launched what appear to be nuclear missiles. How quaint, Jin said. Intercept them at a safe distance. Let the humans see how ineffective their best weapons are against Imperial technology. The Imperial ships fired short pulses, detonating the nuclear missiles long before they could reach their targets. The flashes lit up Earth's orbit like miniature suns. Meanwhile, hidden in the shadow of the moon, Captain Jun and her crew watched the Imperial ships with cold calculation. The Stormbreaker's sensors recorded every detail of the enemy's movements, weapons, and shield configurations. They're following standard Imperial conquest protocols, said Tactical Officer Han, just as our intelligence predicted. Jun nodded. They think we're primitive. They'll spread their ships to cover more ground, making orbital strikes on key locations. She pointed to the tactical display. Notice how they're already beginning to separate. Admiral Park's orders have arrived, reported her communications officer. Operation Thermopylae is a go. We are to engage in 30 minutes after the Imperial fleet has fully committed to their bombardment pattern. Jun turned to her crew. This is it. What we've trained for all these years. She activated the ship-wide communication system. All hands to battle stations. Prepare for combat operations. Throughout the massive destroyer, crew members moved with purpose. Weapon stations were manned. Shield generators hummed to full power. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Min began the careful process of bringing the matter-antimatter core to combat levels. Weapons status, Joan asked. Main cannon charged and ready, replied Officer Choi. Point defense systems active. Missile bays loaded. Stealth systems functioning at optimal levels. The Imperial ships show no sign of detecting us. Back on the Imperial Glory, Commander Jin was growing impatient with Earth's feeble resistance. Their fighter craft had been easily destroyed, their missiles neutralized. Their ground-based beam weapons couldn't even penetrate the Imperial ship's outer shields. "Begin the first wave of bombardment," Jin ordered. "Target their military installations as identified by our scouts." "Yes, sir," Major Tay replied. Targeting their largest military bases, the Imperial ships began to spread out, taking positions around the planet for maximum coverage, exactly as Captain Jun had predicted. "Sir," the sensor officer suddenly called out, "I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the far side of this planet's moon." Jin frowned. "What kind of readings?" "Unknown, sir. They don't match any known signature in our database. Probably some mining operation," Jin dismissed. "Focus on the bombardment." As the Imperial ships settled into their attack positions, the first energy beams struck Earth's surface. Major cities suffered power outages as electrical grids were systematically disabled. Military bases went dark as precision strikes eliminated communication centers. "Excellent," Jin said, watching the results on his tactical display. "Now they will understand the futility of resistance." At that moment, Captain Jun gave the order that would change the course of the battle. "Disengage stealth systems. Power up main engines. Weapons free." The Stormbreaker and 7 other destroyers suddenly appeared on Imperial sensors, emerging from the moon's shadow like avenging angels. Their engines flared blue-white as they accelerated toward the scattered Imperial fleet. "Sir," the Imperial sensor officer shouted in alarm. "Multiple large warships detected. They're on an attack vector." Jin's satisfied expression vanished. "That's impossible. Our intelligence reported no capital ships." But the impossible was happening. Earth's hidden fleet was revealing itself at last, and Operation Thermopylae had begun. As the Imperial ships began their bombardment of Earth's cities, the planet's hidden fleet made its move. The Stormbreaker and 30 attack vessels suddenly appeared on Imperial scanners, their stealth systems deactivated. Before the Imperial fleet could react, Earth's ships fired their primary weapons. Advanced plasma beams sliced through Imperial shields as if they were paper. The Stormbreaker moved with impossible speed for a vessel its size, targeting the Imperial Glory's weapon systems with surgical precision. "Impossible," Jin shouted as damage reports flooded in. "Focus all firepower on that destroyer." The Imperial vessels concentrated their attack on the Stormbreaker. The destroyer absorbed devastating hits but continued fighting, its adaptive shield technology distributing the energy across its hull. Captain Jun's voice remained calm despite the battle raging around her. "Execute Maneuver Sierra 9. The Stormbreaker suddenly accelerated, performing a complex spiral pattern that no ship its size should have been capable of. The maneuver placed it directly above the Imperial Glory's command section. "Target locked," reported Officer Han. "Fire," ordered Jun. The Stormbreaker's main cannon glowed bright blue before unleashing a beam of concentrated energy directly at the Imperial Glory. The beam cut through space like a sword of light, striking the Imperial flagship with devastating force. The Glory's shields flared brilliantly as they attempted to absorb the attack, but the energy was too much. The shields collapsed, and the beam sliced into the ship's upper hull. On the Imperial Glory's bridge, chaos erupted. Consoles exploded in showers of sparks. Emergency alarms blared. The deck tilted as stabilizers failed. "Damage report," Jin demanded, pulling himself up from the floor where the impact had thrown him. "Main shields down. Weapons systems at 30% capacity. Hull breach on decks 3 through 7, his officer shouted over the noise. Jin stared at the tactical display in disbelief. How could Earth possess such technology? His intelligence reports had shown nothing like this. Nothing at all. "Sir, the enemy vessels are surrounding our fleet," Major Tay reported, his confident demeanor now replaced with poorly concealed fear. "They're cutting off our retreat paths." Outside, the battle unfolded with brutal efficiency. Earth's ships moved in perfect coordination, targeting the Imperial vessels with precision strikes. Smaller attack craft swarmed around the larger Imperial ships, disabling weapons and engines. The Stormbreaker led the assault, its black hull occasionally illuminated by weapons fire. Captain June stood calmly on her bridge, issuing orders with the confidence of someone who had prepared for this moment her entire life. "Target the Glory's engine section," she ordered. "Disable but do not destroy." "Captain, 3 Imperial cruisers are moving to intercept us," reported Han. "They're charging their main weapons." June nodded. "Defensive pattern Delta. Deploy countermeasures." The Stormbreaker released clouds of metallic particles just as the Imperial cruisers fired. Their energy beams scattered in the clouds, losing coherence before they could reach the destroyer. "Return fire," June ordered. "Target their weapon systems only." The Stormbreaker's secondary cannons fired, precise shots that struck each cruiser exactly where their main weapon systems were located. One by one, the Imperial ships went dark. Back on the Glory, Commander Jin was frantically trying to regain control of the battle. "Order all ships to form a defensive perimeter. Concentrate fire on that black destroyer." The remaining Imperial ships adjusted their positions, bringing all their weapons to bear on the Stormbreaker. Beams of destructive energy converged on the Earth vessel from multiple directions. The Stormbreaker's shields glowed hot under the assault. Inside, the ship shuddered violently. "Shield status," Jum demanded, gripping her command chair as the ship rocked from another hit. "Shields at 60% and holding," reported Lieutenant Gill. "The adaptive systems are learning the Imperial weapon frequencies. Each hit becomes less effective." June smiled slightly, "Just as we designed them to. Engineer Min, I need more power to the main engines." "You've got it, Captain." Min's voice came over the comm. "But I can't promise the drive won't overheat if we push it too hard." "Understood." "Tactical. Prepare for maneuver Omega-6. Officer Han looked up in surprise. "Captain, that maneuver has never been tested outside simulation. Today seems like a good day to try." Jun replied calmly. "Execute on my mark." The Stormbreaker suddenly cut all engines, appearing to drift. The Imperial ships adjusted their fire, thinking the Earth vessel was disabled. Then, in a move that defied the normal laws of physics, the Stormbreaker engaged its gravitational drive at full power. The massive ship flipped end over end with impossible speed, coming up beneath the Imperial Glory. "Their shields are weakest on their ventral side," Jun said. "Fire all weapons." The Stormbreaker unleashed everything it had. Plasma beams, quantum torpedoes, and particle cannons all struck the Imperial flagship's underside simultaneously. The Glory's remaining shields failed completely, and the weapons tore into the ship's vital systems. On the Glory's bridge, Jin watched in horror as his ship came apart around him. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut. Life support warnings flashed on every screen. "Sir, we're losing power to all decks," an officer shouted. "Engines are offline. Weapons systems completely disabled." Jin stared at the main screen, which showed the Black Earth destroyer hovering below his crippled ship like a shark circling wounded prey. "How?" he whispered. "How could they hide this from us?" Throughout the solar system, the battle was turning decisively in Earth's favor. The Imperial ships, designed to fight enemies who used familiar technology, had no effective countermeasures against Earth's weapons. Their tactics, successful in 100 previous conquests, failed against the unpredictable maneuvers of the Earth fleet. Captain Jun watched with satisfaction as the Imperial Glory drifted, powerless, and at their mercy. The other Imperial ships were either disabled or retreating. "Sir, the Glory is hailing us," reported her communications officer. "On screen," Jun ordered. Commander Jin's face appeared, his uniform torn and dirty, blood trickling from a cut on his forehead. The bridge behind him was dark, lit only by emergency lighting. "You have defeated us," Jin said, his voice tight with suppressed rage. "I offer my surrender." Jun looked at him coldly. "The Empire came to our system uninvited. You threatened our world. You fired on our cities." "We were following standard protocol for primitive worlds," Jin replied. "Had we known your true capabilities, You would have brought a larger fleet, June finished for him. That was exactly why we hid our strength. The Empire only respects power. Now you have seen ours. Jin's eyes narrowed. The Empire will not forget this. When word reaches the Imperial Center, they will send 100 ships to crush your world. June smiled. We're counting on it. Send your message, Commander. Tell them exactly what happened here today. Tell them about the Stormbreaker. Tell them that Earth is not what they thought it was. She leaned forward. And tell them that next time, we won't be so merciful. With that, she cut the transmission. The battle was over. Humanity had revealed itself to the galaxy, and nothing would ever be the same again. The Stormbreaker's main cannon fired, a concentrated beam of energy that crippled the Imperial Glory's bridge. The remaining Imperial ships, seeing their flagship disabled, retreated to the edge of the solar system, sending emergency signals back to the Empire. Captain June led a boarding party onto the disabled Imperial flagship. Commander Jin awaited them on the bridge, his uniform scorched, his expression one of disbelief. How? He demanded. Your world is primitive. You've barely left your planet. June smiled. A carefully crafted deception. Humanity has spent centuries preparing for this day. Our history is filled with warfare and conquest. We've learned to always prepare for the worst. She gestured to the view screen showing Earth's fleet surrounding the remaining Imperial ships. Your Empire isn't the first to underestimate us. It might be the last. 3 weeks later, the Galactic Council received the full report of the fleet's defeat. Earth was immediately reclassified from primitive/resource world to advanced/high caution. When the Empire's diplomatic corps returned to Earth, they no longer spoke of integration but of alliance. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not through submission, but through strength. As Captain June watched the treaty signing from the Stormbreaker's bridge, she knew this was just the beginning. The galaxy would soon learn that underestimating humanity was always a costly mistake. The Stormbreaker's shuttle docked with the crippled Imperial Glory. Captain June led 20 soldiers, all wearing Earth's new space combat armor. They moved through the damaged ship with weapons ready. Most of the Imperial crew had surrendered already, but June took no chances. The Glory's corridors were dark, lit only by emergency lights. The air smelled of burnt metal and electrical fires. Imperial crew members stood against the walls, hands raised, as Earth soldiers guided them to holding areas. The bridge is just ahead, reported Lieutenant Gill, checking his scanner. Life signs indicate Commander Jin is still there. June nodded. Remember, we need him alive. The Empire must hear directly from their commander what happened here today. They reached the main bridge. The doors were jammed, partially open. June's team forced them wide enough to enter. Inside, the bridge was in ruins. Broken consoles sparked. Dead screens hung from the ceiling. The main viewport was cracked, emergency force fields barely holding the atmosphere in. Commander Jin sat in his command chair, surrounded by his remaining officers. His uniform was torn and burned. A cut on his face had left a trail of dried blood down his cheek, but his eyes still burned with pride and anger. Commander Jin, June said, removing her helmet. Your ship is secured. Your crew is in Earth custody. Jin looked at her with hatred. You will not live to enjoy this victory. When the Empire learns what happened here, they will send 100 ships, 1,000. They will burn your world to ash. June walked slowly around the destroyed bridge, examining the Imperial technology. Your Empire has conquered many worlds, Commander. Peaceful worlds. Worlds that didn't expect attack. Worlds that weren't ready. She stopped directly in front of him. Earth is different. We have spent our history fighting each other. War is in our blood. When we detected the first alien signals a century ago, we didn't celebrate. We prepared. Impossible, Jin said. Our scouts observed your planet for decades. You had primitive spacecraft, basic weapons. June smiled. All part of our deception. We showed you what we wanted you to see. While your scouts watched our public space program, our real fleet was being built in secret. While you saw our nations arguing with each other, we were actually united in purpose. She gestured to one of her soldiers, who activated a portable viewer. It showed the remains of the Imperial fleet, surrounded by Earth ships. This was just our first defense line, Jun said. We have more ships, more weapons, technologies your empire has never seen before. Jin stared at the screen, his face pale. Who are you people? We are humanity, Jun replied simply. And we will not be conquered. The days after the battle were busy ones for Earth. The damaged Stormbreaker underwent repairs. The captured Imperial ships were studied carefully. Prisoners were questioned, providing valuable intelligence about the Empire. In his command center, Admiral Park received reports from across the solar system. All Imperial ships have been accounted for, an aide told him. 11 captured or destroyed. 1 escaped to carry warning to the Empire. Park nodded. Good. Let them know what awaits them if they return. Sir, we've decoded their communications. The Empire is in shock. They've never suffered such a defeat before, and they never expected it from us, Park said. That was our advantage. 3 weeks passed. Earth waited for the Empire's response. Defense systems remained on high alert. The fleet prepared for possible retaliation. Then a single ship appeared at the edge of the solar system. Not a warship, but a diplomatic vessel. It requested permission to approach Earth. President Lee met with her advisors to consider this development. They want to talk, she said, after trying to conquer us. Now they want to talk. It's because we showed our strength, General Sun replied. The Empire respects power. Now they know we have it. The diplomatic vessel was escorted to Earth orbit by 4 Stormbreaker-class destroyers. The message was clear. Earth was willing to talk, but from a position of strength. The Galactic Council, the Empire's governing body, had received the full report of the fleet's defeat. Humanity's status had been immediately changed from primitive/resource world to advanced/high caution. The attempted conquest was now described as an unfortunate misunderstanding. Captain Jun watched from the Stormbreaker as the Imperial diplomats shuttled down to Earth. The main diplomat, a high-ranking official named Rock, looked nervous as his craft passed close to the destroyer. They fear us now, Han observed from his station. Fear is a beginning, Jun replied. Respect will take longer. The treaty negotiations lasted a week. The Empire, once so certain of easy victory, now offered trade agreements, technology exchanges, and non-aggression pacts. They spoke not of conquest, but of mutual cooperation and peaceful coexistence. Earth's leaders pressed their advantage, demanding access to imperial star charts, trade routes, and diplomatic recognition. Most importantly, they secured Earth's independence and the right to maintain its military fleet. On the final day, Captain Jun was invited to witness the treaty signing. She stood in the Grand Hall of the United Earth Government, watching as President Lee and Imperial diplomat Rock signed the document that would change humanity's place in the galaxy. This marks a new chapter in relations between Earth and the Galactic Empire, Rock announced, his voice carrying through the hall. We welcome humanity as equals in the cosmic community. President Lee's response was brief but pointed. Earth has always been equal. Today, the Empire finally recognizes that fact. After the ceremony, Jun returned to the Stormbreaker. From orbit, Earth looked peaceful and blue, giving no hint of the military power now revealed to the stars. New orders, Captain, her communications officer reported. We're to begin a patrol of the outer system. Show the flag. Jun nodded. The real work was just beginning. The Empire would not soon forget its humiliation. Other alien powers would now take notice of Earth. Humanity would need to remain vigilant. As the Stormbreaker's engines powered up and the great ship moved away from Earth, Jun thought about the future. Humanity had survived its first contact with a hostile galactic power. They had turned potential conquest into respect. But the galaxy was vast, filled with unknown dangers and potential enemies. Earth's fleet would need to grow stronger. Its technology would need to advance further. Its warriors would need to be ever ready. The stars were no longer distant points of light. They were destinations. Some would be friends, others enemies. All would learn the same lesson the Empire had learned. Underestimating humanity was a mistake you only made once. The end.